Hey everyone, it's PK here. Hope you're doing really well. I just wanted to talk today about a conversation I've been having with a few people over the last 3 days, and that conversation is all around analysis paralysis. So if you're a little bit paralyzed because there's just so much information out there and you don't know what to make of it, you don't know what the right information is, and you don't know how to synthesize it and really draw insights and make decisions and make good decisions in terms of where and what to buy, then this video is going to be useful for you. So there's so many conversations I have with people that say, look, PK, I've listened to 4 or 5 podcasts, I've listened to 50 episodes each, I've read this book, whether it's Margaret Lomas, or that book, whether it's Michael Yardney, the great stalwarts in property investing that have done really well for themselves over the last 20-30 years. I have surveyed all the websites, realestate.com, SQM, On the House, etc. I have joined all the Facebook groups, including my one. I've done everything. It's like I've tried to do everything. I've tried to absorb all that I can, and all that's done is left me more confused than what I was at the start. Okay? There are so many people in this boat, and if you are, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You've listened to everything, you've heard everything, you've read everything, but you're still more confused than ever. And here's the thing about podcasts, right? There are so many awesome podcasts, and they're great for beginners. Let me name drop some right now. So there's the Smart Property Investment Show, there's Property Invest Story, there's the Property Couch, there's probably so many others that I don't even know about. But here's the thing with podcasts. All they provide you is with surface level information. I'm not saying that they're not useful, but if you listen to 100 shows or 100 episodes of 2 or 3 podcasts, you can basically glean the most useful information and write it in about 10 to 15 bullet points, right? So yes, they are important. Yes, as beginner investors, everyone should be listening to these podcasts. I mean, they're free. Why wouldn't you? But the thing about all these podcasts is that they very purposefully, and I don't blame them, they don't give you enough knowledge to actually be able to select a suburb and have confidence that that will grow in the short term and that that will grow in the long term. They just provide surface level information, things like land to asset ratio, things like, around the grounds, how's Brisbane doing, how's Melbourne doing, how's Sydney doing, but that doesn't really help you select a suburb. In fact, if you follow it, you could miss suburbs that are actually going to do well in cities that aren't going to do well. They'll talk about population growth, they'll bring people on and get them to share their story, all stuff that is absolutely important, absolutely useful, but doesn't actually allow you to make a decision for yourself. No one cares about your money as much as you do, right? Same with books. Books will talk about the principles, how to harvest equity, what is a loan to value ratio, what is passive income, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Napoleon Hill, Get Rich, I was thinking about 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. It's not that. It's Think and Grow Rich. There's so many books that you can be reading about property investment and wealth creation as well, and they're brilliant for principles, right? The fundamentals. But once again, they're not going to tell you, they're not going to equip you with enough knowledge so that you can actually select a suburb as per your strategy, and then select a property as per your strategy and make money, passive income and capital growth in the short and long term. They don't go in so far as to say that. And neither will Facebook groups, including mine, right? There's so many good people in all these Facebook groups, plenty of novice people and plenty of experts as well. They'll all share their stories, they'll all share their opinions and their insights about the market, and no doubt it's useful. But once again, you can't really take all of that and make a decision based on it, right? Nor should you. I see so many people researching, quote unquote, including on realestate.com for 5 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, trying to absorb 50 podcasts worth of knowledge, trying to read 10 books, trying to scour all the Facebook groups and forums for little nuggets of gold that hopefully no one else has seen. But look, I just want to be really, really upfront and say that all is super useful, that all is very, very insightful, but it will not help you develop a very clear strategy for yourself. It won't actually help you identify the precise suburb that you should be investing in within the 15,000 suburbs available to you in Australia. And it won't actually help you decide which street, which house to buy, so that it will give you capital growth in the short and long term, as well as passive income. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with spending a year or 2 years or 3 years absorbing knowledge and trying to synthesize it. But the problem will be that on 4 different podcasts, 4 different shows, 4 different people will be saying 4 different things. Same with the books, same with the Facebook forums. So I just see people, unfortunately, the more information that they consume, the more content that they consume, the more confused they get, right? Because in this day and age, in 2020, there's so much to consume, right? So how do we break through this? How do we actually get the insights that we want? How do we actually make the decisions with confidence so that we can actually buy the right property in the right street, in the right suburb that will make us money in the short and long term? And from my experience, you know, all of that information gathering is good, but from my experience, the thing that matters the most is to actually just seek help. That doesn't mean it needs to be from me. It just means that whoever you go to, ask them the question: have you achieved what you are preaching? Have you achieved what you are teaching? Have you actually achieved what you are talking about? And if the person that you are interviewing, if the person that you are considering has actually achieved those things, let's say you want to develop a passive income of, let's say, $80,000 or $100,000 or $120,000, right? And that's really the typical reason property investors get into the game. They just want passive income for themselves and their families. They don't want big, you know, they don't want a Ferrari, they don't want a house in Mossman, a dream home. They don't want, you know, $1 million in the bank account. All they really want is to have the option to not work. All they want is to have the option to reduce their hours at work or not work altogether in 5, 10, 15 years time, so that they can spend time with their family, their kids or their wife, or at least have time to do what they want. That's the number one reason investors get into the game, right? So if you're an investor just like that, when you're seeking help, ask the person that you're actually seeking advice from. Ask the person that you're potentially going to be giving your hard-earned money to, that is going to help you. Has he or she actually achieved what you want to achieve? So has he or she actually achieved a passive income of close to or just above $100,000 if that's your goal? If your goal is different, then ask them whether they've achieved that goal. Okay, so instead of subscribing to 5 different podcasts and every week listening to 5 different shows that come out on each of those podcasts, instead of reading 10 different books, instead of subscribing to 10 different Facebook groups or 10 different forums online, or, you know, scouring through realestate.com, all these things are good. But instead of just wasting time doing this and hoping that you'll become an advanced property investor and actually achieve your goal, instead of relying on these things, rely on trusted advice. Now, that advice may be free if you know someone who's happy to really hold your hand, develop a strategy for you, teach you and tell you where to buy and what to buy, how to negotiate, how to value, how to renovate for profit, how to manage your tax, your conveyancing, your quantity surveying, your broking, all this sort of stuff. If you can find someone in your friend circle, then look, that's the ideal. That's the best, and that's what I was lucky enough to have when I first started. But if you can't achieve if you don't have that person at your disposal, then seek advice. Okay, it doesn't mean that you need to outsource it. Doesn't mean that you need to get them to do everything for you, but just seek advice. Okay, because I'm just really disappointed that so many people spend years trying to learn property investing, and because they're just information gathering from so many different sources, it just remains at surface level information. It doesn't actually help them. So I'm just going to leave you with that. You know, whoever you're following in property, make sure that before you take advice, just check, have they achieved what you want to achieve? And if they have, and they seem trustworthy, if they seem ethical, and they've demonstrated results, then go ahead and work with them. That was probably going to be a good idea. But if they haven't, then just be very, very careful. Don't collate opinion and go the middle route, right? That's not how decisions should be made, especially not for multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of decisions. So hopefully that was useful. Podcasts are great, websites are great, Facebook groups are great, books are great, but in of themselves, they don't constitute learning advanced property investing. You should definitely do all those things, but if you, with conviction, want to know that my first investment, my second investment, and my third investment is actually going to lead to my desired goal of passive income in the future, then oftentimes, professional advice is useful. So hopefully this was useful. If you did watch right through to the end right here, then please give me a like or comment below, just so I can get some reciprocation of energy, just to see for myself that this is actually useful for everyone. Otherwise, please reach out to me or comment below if you have any questions. I'm very happy to help. So are so many other people. All right, well, have a great day. It's PK here. Catch you later, guys. Bye.